started. I've got a couple of announcements for you, but I've got a lot of things going on in the next couple of weeks that you'll want to know about. So that'll be very exciting. And then I want to talk about this past week as well. I apologize about that. So welcome to our Sunday Night Live. I appreciate you being here. We do this every Sunday, or we try to do this every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We go live right here for a live question and answer. So first and foremost, if you have any questions about raising Coturnix quail or breeding quail or quail for profit or whatever the case may be, feel free to ask and we will do our very best to help you out. If you're new, we do a couple different things here on Sundays. Number one is if you want to let us know where you're from. It's always interesting to see where all the quail people are at in the world. It's pretty cool. If you've hatched any eggs from us this week on shipped eggs, you can feel free to let us know what that hatch rate is if you have not already told me, and we'll write down that for our records. And then we do announcements, which is what I'm getting into right now. But before I do, if you will be so kind to just hit that like button, I would greatly appreciate it. Helps the channel grow and makes me feel a little bit better. So we had a pretty busy week. We posted 3 videos. I think Linda did a fantastic job. If you have not seen those videos and you're interested in quail for profit, marketing, advertising, things like that, I highly, highly recommend you check those out. I think she did awesome. She's much more elegant in her speaking than I am, but she did a great job. She will be here at Quail Con both days, but she'll be doing an expert table on Saturday. I did confirm a feeder, a falconer and a reptile feeder wholesaler. He'll be here and he'll talk about what they're looking for and things like that at Quail Con as well. So that's a huge development as well. I just confirmed that. So that's very exciting. I will be working on a couple other things, just confirming and getting everything caught up with Quail Con in the next week or two. But we are right around the corner. I did put quite a bit more tickets on the website, and I think we have about 15 tickets left. And I don't think I'll be able to add any more to that. We'll be at max. So that is very exciting. We did sell out. I added some more. So make sure that if you are interested in coming to Quail Con, I think it's going to be a great thing. If you have any questions about Quail Con, ask below and we'll get to those questions in just a minute. But it's September 3rd and 4th. It's going to be a great time. There's only 15 tickets left, and those are available on our website at myshirefarm.com. Tomorrow night, we're going to have a special guest for just a few minutes. We've got something that we're going to talk about. That's pretty exciting as well. So he'll be here for the first few minutes. And then next Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're coming back live right here. And the same special guest will be next Sunday. But we've got a new way that we're going to do the 18 and under contest. We're going to pick the winner for the 18 and under contest next Sunday as well. So I'm very excited about that news as well. That's all came to fruition as well. So make sure you check that out as well. And I think that is all the announcements for right now, I do believe. So tomorrow, somebody will be joining me. Next Sunday, somebody will be joining me. And if you don't know what the 18 under contest is, that is a contest that we've been doing for years now. We pick a new winner the first Sunday of every month. And it is to encourage and promote the next generation, anyone that's 18 or under, to get involved with self-sufficiency, entrepreneur skills, learn responsibility, and so much more. So many people have gotten involved with it, from Flew the Coop Farms to Whiskey Tango Farms to Wynola Ranch to Dale's Quails to Myshire Farm, to some individuals like Ed from Ed Got Bait. He's a moderator on here and a leader in the community. He contributes as well. Jesse Mills is on here. He contributes. Well, they contribute. And so many more. I'm missing names right now, and I apologize. Witch Doctor donates as well. I think that's everybody, but there's just so many. But we let you guys donate as well. So the $ in the comment section is a super sticker, super chat. Really, that is just a donation to the channel, and that donation goes strictly to purchasing an incubator for someone that's 18 and under wanting to start their own business or raise their own quail for meat and eggs and things like that. So it's a great cause. If you would like to donate towards that, that is where that's at. But it is free to hit the like button, and you are more than welcomed to just ask the questions, and we can help you on your journey with quail. Now, I think that is all the announcements. I apologize for wasting your time, but hopefully somebody got something out of that. Chad just donated $10 to the 18 and under contest. I truly appreciate that. Thank you very much. We started the 18 and under contest, I don't know, 2.5 years ago maybe. And the first month, I just donated 30 eggs. And I had been working with Wynola Ranch for a little bit at that time. So I just texted them and called them and said, hey, this is what I'm going to start doing. Do you want to be a part of it? And without hesitation, they said, yep, we'll donate a cage every month. And I said, okay, great. And we did that for probably 1.5 years. And then Dale's Quails and Whiskey Tango Farms and Flew the Coop Farms and everybody else really wanted to participate. And I really appreciate everybody that does that. So thank you very much. All right, let's get into the questions and comments. Again, if you have any questions, that is what we're here for. Feel free to ask. There are no stupid questions. It's only stupid if you don't ask, because you just don't know what you don't know. But we will try to help you out on your journey. So if you have any questions with Quail Con, raising quail, starting with quail, hatching quail, quail issues, quail, feel free to ask, and we'll be happy to help you out. Again, thank you very much, Verna Young and Ed Got Bait. They're my moderators on here. They'll show up in blue with the little wrench. They'll usually answer your questions or send you a link to a video that I already have, so that you don't have to wait on my answer. I get a little bit behind tonight because I read all the questions. But thank you very much for being leaders in the community. And tomorrow night at 8 p.m. we also go live right here on the YouTube channel, and that is a rapid fire Q&A. So we don't do announcements. I don't read all the comments. We only read the questions, and we answer as many as possible. And we started that just a few months ago, and it's really turned out to be a huge success. And a lot of new people are getting on there and getting quick answers, and I'm really happy that that's helping as well. So make sure you check that out as well. David Lister's in the house. Can't stay, but will pose 2 questions on my own eggs. Recent incubation with a large percentage with no development. The cause. Usually the cause on that, and there could be multiple, but usually the cause on that is a temperature issue. Usually. Especially if there's a large percentage that there's no development. Usually that means a temperature issue. That could mean that the males are not doing their thing. It's not a humidity issue. You can mark that off the list. My own eggs. The first thing that I would look at is temperature in the incubator. They're accurate until they're not. The incubators are accurate until they're not accurate anymore. So I get a lot of people that are like, oh, I've had great success the last 3 hatches, and then the last 4 hatches have been awful. And you know, it's like, I mean, they're good until they're not good anymore. So I would check that out first. One group of hens is laying eggs with little to no shell, need calcium. That's correct. Nope, it's a calcium issue with the soft shells. No problem with other layer groups. Thanks. We'll listen for your answers later this evening. Yep, not a problem. And I wish you the best. Verna Young just donated $10 to the 18 under contest. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Glenn Wells is in the house from Missouri. Welcome. Glad you're here. Nikki James is in the house. Nikki and Brad will be here for Quail Con. They're going to be VIPs. They're going to be helping out, doing the butcher class with a couple other people, and helping out throughout the event. So thank you very much. I can't wait to see you guys again. They were here last year and camped out, and they'll be kind of the go-to people if you're camping out for Quail Con as well. So I can't wait until they get here. Jesse Mills is in the house. Welcome. Glad you're here. Lewis Layton's in the house. So I'm new to quail and have a question about feed. I found Purina Game Bird layer feed and it says not to feed to male birds. So does that mean I need different feed in the cages? No. You can feed it to males. That's not a big deal. A lot of people do it. If it was me, I would not look at a game bird. And I know that it's very confusing. I do completely understand that. But when they say game bird, they're talking more about the seasonal native layers. They're talking about pheasants. They're talking about, bobwhites. They're talking about valleys. They're talking about this, that, and the other. Coturnix quail is considered a game bird, but they're different than all the others. They're special. So with that being said, I would really look at an all-purpose layer feed. I think that's going to help you a lot more. The game bird that we used for about a year and a half just didn't do the same as what we were using before, and we were using an all-purpose layer crumble. So when I wanted to go back to it, I said, I felt like I didn't want to use the all-purpose because we're kind of a production standpoint here and we're shipping so many eggs. And so we customized our own feed, and it came out to be like an extra 75 cents a bag compared to the general layer. So it was a no-brainer for me. But yeah, I would look at an all-purpose layer feed and not really focus on the game bird. I think that's going to help you a lot as well. Carrot Top's in the house. Welcome. Oh, we did get a $20 donation from Scott Ross. Thank you very much for the 1800 contest. I really appreciate that. I really do like the cause. I think it's great. And we get, I guess you can't see behind me, but we've got 3 different letters here from young entrepreneurs that started their journey, won the contest throughout the past year or whatever, sent thank you cards and updates, and they're doing a great job. Jasmine Bass is the leader in the community as well, and a while ago her little brother actually won the contest, and she gave me an update a couple weeks ago about how he's off to the races and selling everything he has, and expanding and doing all kinds of really cool stuff, and so he's doing extremely well as well. Lori Sue's in the house from Texas. Welcome. Glad you're here. Shane's in the house from Louisiana. Welcome. Scott Ross is in the house from Lagro, Indiana. I guess that's how you say it. Lagro, I would assume. Well, welcome. We're glad you're here. Lee's Quails is in the house from Oklahoma. Welcome. Robin C. is in the house from Michigan. Wyandotte, Michigan. Welcome. Glad you're here. Shannon the Jeep Girl is in the house, like the name. I have new layers and their eggs are super thin. What can I supplement to get stronger eggs? If they're new layers, give it about 2 weeks. They'll start laying at about 5 to 6 weeks old. For about 2 weeks, they kind of figure out how it all works, and their body will kind of change to support all that. So the first week or 2, you kind of want them to be kind of all over the place. You're going to get thin, you're going to get thick, you're going to get, weird shaped, you're going to get different colors. Some will be soft. All of that is okay. You want to give them about a 2-week grace period, because if you try to halter that, if you try to stop that, I know that makes sense at some level, that you want to control that more, but they need to do it themselves, or they're going to become weaker in the long run. So that's a great question, and completely logical, but it's actually better to let them go. Now, if you do have that issue and they're 8 or 9 weeks old, then we need to talk. But if they're new layers, you really should let them go for a little bit while. And that's actually something that we're actually going to be talking about at Quail Con, about our breeder program. So I think you're going to really enjoy that as well. If you're interested, I tell you what, if you're interested, hit the like button, and I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of some of what I'm going to be talking about at Quail Con. I think it's going to be very interesting. I think it's going to be very helpful. I will be talking for a full hour, so we're actually going to be breaking that up in 3 different topics, about 30 minutes a piece, or 20 minutes a piece. If you want to know a little bit, hit the like button. Once we get to 70 likes, I'll give you a little sneak peek about what I'll be talking about as I've started my notes on my talk. Linda Easton donated $10 to the 18 Under contest. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I did say this at the very beginning, but I was very, very impressed with Linda and the videos that she did this week for us. I think she did a fantastic job. She's almost full, if not already full, with the expert table that you can sign up for Quail Con. If you don't know what that is and you're coming to Quail Con, check out the video we posted Friday. It is fantastic. And make sure you get that in because it's almost full now. But I'm very excited about that. She'll actually be stopping by Friday night with the speakers. We're going to be getting together, and I cannot wait to sit down with her, and we're going to come up with some really great ideas for the future for the community as a whole. And I think that me and her together are really going to do some great stuff. So I'm really excited about that. But thank you very much for the 18 and Under contest donation. That's very generous, and I love the contest. Ashley Miller's in the house from South Carolina. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Shane Ramsey is in the house. Can you put new eggs in the incubator when you were putting the other ones into lockdown? You can. You can. I prefer not to, but I am blessed enough to have separate incubators and lockdowns. I'm fully aware that not everybody has that. So it's not the end of the world, but ideally you don't want to do that. You really have to get that humidity up significantly at lockdown so that they can soften the egg and hatch out. But if you, that 75% is great for humidity lockdown for the eggs to hatch, but 75% during the incubation process, they'll start forming and then drowning in the eggs. So you just got to be real careful with that. So you can, it's not extreme ideal, but every once in a while it happens. We are actually doing it right now. I've got eggs that had to go into lockdown Friday, and I'm kind of, all my stuff is completely maxed out right now because of Quail Con and putting live quail on the website starting tomorrow and this, that, and the other. So I've been hatching out like crazy. So we're actually doing that now. So I'm going to have a little bit lower of a hatch rate than what I want, but I just didn't have the room. I had to do what I had to do. So it happens. But if you can avoid it, avoid it. Dr. Connie's in the house. Hello from Florida. Always enjoy and appreciate your time and knowledge. Well, thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. Scott says, do you sell feed for jumbo wilds? Feed will be available at Quail Con for you to pick up and take home. And what I'm hoping is that the Klombach and Brubaker customize my layer feed. We've worked together for years and years. We came up with it. It works fantastic for all Coternics. I really enjoy it for the layer. I'm hoping that when they're here at Quail Con, because they'll be speaking as well, I'm hoping that when they come here for Quail Con, they're going to see such a huge passion and a big outcry for needing something for Coternics quail that they'll start taking me seriously about getting it out there to different states and vendors and things like that. But we'll see how that goes. It looks as though, yep, Nikki James just donated $10 to the 18 Under contest. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. It's going to a great cause. I appreciate that. Glenn Wells is in the house. I really enjoyed the Quail for Profit videos last week. Excellent video. Thank you. That's wonderful to hear. Yeah, I think she did a fantastic job. I really love the rule of 3. That's something that I've been doing for a long, long time. And she did it better than I did. So there you go. Don Ray B's in the house. Welcome. Glad you're here. Little Ridge Farms in the house. Howdy, Zach. Everything is almost boxed up and will be sent out this week for you. Thank you very much and best of luck to you. Natasha Watkins is in the house. Hello from New Zealand. Coming into spring here. Planted some soya beads yesterday to start experimenting with making my own quail feed. Very cool and best of luck to you. And happy you're here. Freedom's Not Free is in the house. Love the name. I'm on day 15 with very first hatching eggs from Myshire. Actually, first attempt at incubating eggs ever. Very exciting and nerve-wracking. I get it. Having trouble getting farm innovators back up to temp. Covered with towels. Is this normal? I have not fully experienced the farm innovator, but yes, from what I hear, that is. So yeah, hopefully you have a Govee in there or some reliable thermometer, hygrometer. I will point this out now. Those little, usually on Amazon, you can buy them like a 3-pack, 6-pack, 10-pack, whatever. They're like rectangles. They're about that big. They're black and they're supposed to be digital, and they read the temperature and humidity. Those are the least accurate things you will ever see in your entire life. Do not use those. Now, I'm not saying you have to get a Govee. That's what we find is the best, but you can get whatever you want. Do not go with those. I highly recommend you try something else, but hopefully you have a separate hygrometer and thermometer in there because they are more prone to not be reading correctly. I see at least 3 or 4 people just since 708 and above that are new. So let me tell you my thought. All incubators lie, and so you have to have a backup to offset that. And there needs to be a checks and balances there. Covering up the incubator with a towel or blanket is a great idea. I highly recommend it. I think that's great. But unfortunately, it does sound like it's normal. Now, I do believe that you can get a good hatch rate from any incubator. I think some you just have to control more than others, like the Farm Innovator or the Little Giant or the this, that, and the other. I think you have to manipulate it more than others, but I do think that it'll still work. So you're still on pace. Good luck, and keep us posted on the hatch. Poolside Dreamer says, question, hello, I've recently started watching your quail videos. Thank you very much. My question, what is the highest temp quail can tolerate and at an extended basis? My garage reaches around 110 degrees here in the Phoenix area. That would be fine. Preferably some circulation, some sort of fan will help, but the temperature really doesn't bother them. I have not seen the temperature bother quail up to about 125 to 130 degrees and as far down as like -30. So the temp is not really an issue with the quail. It's more of the elements. They are in the garage, so they're not going to get rained on. They don't have to worry about heavy winds. It's definitely more predator proof. So you've got all that covered. I really wouldn't worry too much about the temperature. In fact, S. McKee just said it went away, but she said 102 degrees where they're at, and they're doing just fine. I wouldn't worry about it at all. I understand that makes sense, and you will see them pant and things like that, but they'll lay just fine. They're not going to die on you and things like that. Lori Sue is in the house. Can you put 3-week-olds with older birds, or do I have to keep them separated by age? You do need to keep them separated by age to a specific age. So typically you don't want to put new quail to existing quail until they're at least 6 to 7 weeks old. Preferably when they start laying eggs. So let's say they start laying eggs at 5.5 weeks old. After that full week, then you can put them in there. They're good to go. But typically they need to be at least 6 weeks old before you put them with an existing quail. After that, they can all be together. It doesn't matter the age difference. But until they're that age, you should. It's highly recommended you separate them. Salty, it's a great question. Salty Dog Adventures in the house. Will you be doing any live shows during Quail Con? I'm going to try. That is the plan, but I'm not going to guarantee anything. Last year I was slammed, did not have time to eat. 3 different very kind people bought food for me and brought it, and never did get to it. I ate it at like 11 o'clock at night. It was really cold. I do really appreciate it. but it was nonstop. So this year we've planned a lot better. I've got a lot more volunteers, a lot more help. We've got a lot of things spread out. So I don't think that that's going to be the case, but never say never. So that is the plan, but I can't guarantee it. Kelly's in the house from Missouri. Welcome. Glad you're here. Let's see. Again, Scott Ross and Verna Young, thank you very much for donating to the 18 and under contest. I really appreciate it. Stephen Lawrence is in the house from Missouri. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Sage Wolf 1975 is in the house. Welcome. Glad you're here. Alamo Quail Farm is in the house. Welcome. Lorenzo Hill is in the house. Welcome. Michaela is in the house. Hey, it's Heather Freeman. Good to see you. From Louisiana. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Karen McAllister's in the house. Isaac, I have an egg count for you hatched. I'll get it right. You don't want to use that. Nope. Okay. I can use this. Let's see. Hatched 48, one small curled toes. Don't think he will make it. So let's say 47. I ordered 50 eggs. You sent 61 cracked in shipping. I set 59. That is wonderful numbers. Congratulations. Karen, that is wonderful. Congratulations. You did great. I would assume the curled toes probably hatched real late. Usually they won't make it either. I agree with that, but that is part of hatching and homesteading, so I get it. But only one out of the 48, still 48 out of the 50 ordered. That is fantastic numbers. I love that. We are currently at a 70.7% hatch rate on shipped eggs for the year. So thank you all for emailing me, texting me, letting me know on here what the average hatch rates are. I really appreciate it. Karen, if you're still on, if you could let me know what kind you ordered, I would greatly appreciate that as well. But thank you very much. And congratulations, that's huge. Linda Easton Waller donated $10 to the 1800 contest. So thank you again, I appreciate it. Cody's in the house from Mount Vernon, Ohio. Welcome, we're glad you're here. Foster Farms is in the house from Tennessee. Do you free choice feed your adult breeders? And if not, how much do you feed each cage per day? Yep, they are free choice. They always have food. We've got a feeder that we made, which is really just an oversized rabbit feeder pretty much, but it holds 2 days worth of feed, and that's filled up at all times. So we fill it up every day. Yeah, they always have feed. Always. Amy B just donated $10 for the kids to the 18 under contest. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. We've got a good winner. I got it already because I was about to announce it tonight, and then I went, oh, it's not the first Sunday of the month. So I got to get back on track. But all of that's already planned out, so I'm very excited about that. So thank you very much for donating. I really appreciate it. And that's going to an amazing cause. Verna says, Zach, what would cause a hen to lay an all-brown soft shell egg? It's hard to say. If it's a one-day thing, I really wouldn't worry about it. It was just a bad day. If it's a continuous issue, then they're probably lacking some sort of, they need extra calcium or extra fiber more than the others. If that's the case, you really don't want to keep them as a breeder anyway. But if it's just for a day, it could have been stress. It could have been, I actually had, for the first time ever, let me tell you a quick story you might find interesting. We moved a bunch of our breeders about 3 weeks ago, and one was acting just ridiculous, just crazy. And so anyways, we move them all around, we put them in the cage. The next day I pick up the egg, and it had cracked inside of her, which is probably why she was acting all crazy, and then formed back together. So you actually, she laid the egg that night or the next morning before I got in there, and you saw where it had almost fully cracked open. I mean, there was cracks everywhere, but then throughout the night, it had repaired itself inside of the quail, and it was the weirdest, coolest thing I've ever seen. I showed George, and he was like, I have never seen that in chicken or quail or anything, and we just thought that was the coolest thing ever. So the point of that is sometimes it's just a bad day, it's a stress day, it's, not getting along with others day, it's whatever day. So if it happens once or twice, you really don't want to fix anything until at least 3 days in a row, is the rule of thumb. Gary Norton's in the house. Hello from Alabama. We got rain today. I'm going to change over to Jumbo Brown and Jumbo Egyptian. Can you help me? 250 eggs of each breed. They are on the website, but the Jumbo Egyptians are about 10 weeks out, and the Jumbo Wilds are 14 weeks out at this time, unfortunately. I'm sorry. You can get in line. I mean, you can get in the queue and order them, and we will ship them out as soon as I possibly can, but it is kind of a long time on that. And I'm sorry. Joy's in the house from Western Oregon. Sold 44 dozen eggs to one buyer today. That is awesome. That's a huge sale. Congratulations. And hopefully they're a repeat customer, but that is a great job. We need, 11? We need 11 more likes, and then I'm going to go into a little bit of detail about what I'm going to be talking about at Quail Con. So hit the like button, support the channel. I'd greatly appreciate it, especially if you want to hear a little of the topic that I'll be talking about. But that is fantastic. Congratulations. That's a huge accomplishment. That's awesome. In fact, on Facebook, I guess this was back in April, but you know how you log into Facebook and it'll be like, here's a memory for you or whatever. This was 9 years ago. So I guess it was 9 years ago. This was back in April, and it was one of the first posts I ever did on Facebook. And we had our kitchen counter, and we had a couple foamers and like 2 or 3 bird boxes, and man, we thought we were on it. Like this was huge. And it was. I mean, that was a huge step. But I still, when I saw that picture, I still remembered the excitement, because that's when we had more than like one order go out. Like we had sold out for the week, so it was like 4 60 counts and 3 bird boxes, and that's everything we had at the time. And I still remember that as a very, very fond, exciting time. So you are right where I remember being in it. It was awesome. So congratulations. That's really cool. Chris Derry Rose is in the house from Arkansas. Welcome. Glad you're here. Michaela says, what is your favorite feed brands and what percentage for babies and adults? Because this is a live, it's very hard to explain. But if you actually go down, where did Michaela, you asked that at 7:16, and 3 comments down from that is a link to all about the feed. If you type into the YouTube search bar, feed by Myshire Farm, there's a video that'll show up that has a Klombach bag on it. That shows exactly what we feed, and I'm fully aware that we customize ours, but you can take that information and match that up with what you like and what's available to you locally, and that would give you a lot better information than what I could give you real quick on the live. I'm going to answer for about 2 more minutes, and then I'm going to stop what we're doing and actually go into a little bit of the topic that I'll be talking about at Quail Con. It's on my mind. I'm real energized and excited about it because I've been thinking about it for a while now, and now I'm starting to put it all together. So I'm excited to share that with you. Trevor Corbin's in the house. Thanks for all you do. Well, thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. James is in the house. Evening, late as usual. That's all right. Thank you very much for showing up. Robin C's in the house. Welcome. TK Rebs 1. T Krebs 1. Hope I said that correctly. Great content. I've got some of your hatching eggs on the way. Very excited to get them in the incubator. Wonderful. Good luck. And I wish you all the best. Keep me posted. Essentially, Kimberly's in the house from Arizona. I got my eggs yesterday, just put them in the incubator an hour ago. This time the room will stay locked when I'm not in it, so certain little boys don't mess up my hatch. It does happen. Lesson learned. You're already fixing it. So best of luck to you, and obviously keep me posted. Glenn Wells is in the house. I put a chicken egg in my quail egg rollout. As I was walking away, I heard a very loud, "Oh, heck no." I'm sure. They're like, okay, we're not competing with that. Nikki James is in the house and donated $10 to the 1800 contest. I appreciate that. Thank you. Foster Farm says, will you guys have the large rabbit style feeders for sale at Quail Con, or can we order some from Papa? Not at this time. We've got a lot of different projects going on. There is a video under the playlist Papa Builder of Things on how he builds them. So you can definitely check that out. But no, none of those will be available. We will have some Winola Ranch stuff. He's definitely sending a lot of troughs for the waters, which I guess would work for the feed too. It's food grade. I bet that would work great. So yeah, we'll have some options for that, but not ours. James is in the house. I love Jumbo Wilds, my favorite. There you go. They are very popular. Gail's in the house from Georgia, home of gnats and heat. There you go. I understand that. Let's see. All right, so we're going to take just a second. I don't want to bore you, but I am going to talk about my content that I'll be doing at Quail Con, and we are going to break it up in 3 different sections. But the one section that I've really been focused on writing and clarifying, and I didn't want to give you just some fluff. You know, I really wanted to give you real pertinent information. And so we're going to talk about entrepreneurship, right? Making money off your land, off your backyard, off of quail, and things like that. And so entrepreneurs are the only ones that are willing to work 80 hours a week so that they don't have to work 40 hours a week. Have you heard that saying? Well, it's 100% true. In fact, I added up my hours this week, and if I get off live at 9 p.m., don't touch my phone and go straight not doing work. So working till 9, I'll have put in 91 hours since Monday. So that is 100% accurate if you've heard that saying before, that entrepreneurs are the only ones that'll work 80 hours a week so that they don't have to work 40 hours a week. And so if you look into that, and we're going to go into a lot, I'm just giving you a little taste, but if you go into that and think about it, well, then why would you do it? Why would you want to do that? Well, it's the freedom. That's why most entrepreneurs start. It's the freedom of doing what you think is best, of making your own decisions, of being in charge, of being responsible, of taking more of the credit as well. And it's a lifestyle. You know, that's, if someone starts business, that's their life. Like that's their focus and desire. And I think self-sufficiency is the same thing. I think that your entrepreneurs that just get their feet wet and they just don't fully commit usually don't make it. Or they have a nice little side thing and that's what they're happy with. And that's okay. Everybody's different. But self-sufficiency, and I'm not just talking about raising quail. It could be bees or rabbits or goats or chickens or cows or gardening or whatever. But I think self-sufficiency is the same thing, and I don't think that we bring that up as much. I don't think we talk about that as much. And it's a lifestyle. We have to be committed. And so a big portion of that is what I'm going to talk about, what our goals are for next year to encourage and enthuse and educate others to becoming more self-sufficient and to helping each other grow. You know, where I don't have a green thumb, I don't have a desire for it, but you might. Well, we need to encourage each other on what you might want to do, and you know, it might not work for me, but self-sufficiency doesn't mean that you just live in the woods off the grid with no help and you survive. It could be, but that's not what it is. Self-sufficiency means that you're taking control, more control, and not relying on government or grocery stores or, you know, this, that, or the other. So that when something hits the fan, you're not going to be in that oh no moment, right? You're going to say, what's going on? But you're covered, you know? And I think that that's very, very important. And I think that the way we get better as a society is that we do better ourselves, and when we succeed, then we can help other people succeed. And so I'm going to go into the rule of three. I'm going to go into 3 ways on how we can do that. And then we're going to go into 3 ways of how we can grow our business, because the more successful and the more profit we make, the more successful that we are in our endeavors, the more we can give back. And I've said this for years and years, and I still believe it today. I love it. And we need to, you can't help until you help yourself. You can't help others until you help yourself. And with that being said, just like Dave Ramsey, you got to live like no one else so that later you can live like you need to live like no one else so that later you can live and give like no one else. And I think that with the way that the world is, the way that it's going, we need to take more control. And I think that if we get a big enough community, and again, I'm not saying that the community just needs to be quail. I'm talking, we're going to grow this thing. We are literally going to change something. And we're going to change our neighborhood, and then we're going to change our, county, and then we're going to change, we're going to grow this because then we can start networking together. And that's, I think, the next step in the evolution of this is, I don't like gardening, but maybe I can get someone down the road that really gets involved with this. We show them how to do this, this, and this, and then they say, okay, well, I like to do this, this, and this, and I go, I don't like to. And then we start sharing together. And so I might not be making a profit off of what they're doing, and I might not be doing what they're doing, but we're working together. So when stuff hits the fan, we're solid, we're tight. And so I think we've grown that tremendously, and I'm very excited about the progress that we've made throughout the year. But next year we need to tighten it up a little bit. We need to bring it together because I don't like doing videos. I don't like talking about the fear aspect. I don't like to this, that, and the other. But we do need to have eyes wide open. And do I think the world's gonna come to an end in 6 months? No. But I do think that we need to be more prepared because what happens in the next event? What happens, with the next pandemic? What happens in the next election, no matter what? What happens in, social unrest? What happens with this? What happens with that? Well, we can't control those things, but what we can control is how much it affects us when it happens. And so if we have a good community around us, then I do think that we all can benefit from that and be successful. And we're going to go into ways on how each one of us can do that. I don't know if every way is going to be for everybody, but if you can take one out of those 3 and get back to your place and be motivated to do better, then that is my goal. So hopefully you like that talk. God, I hope you like that talk because it took me 6 months to come together. So I hope you enjoy it. I don't know. Don Ray B's in the house says, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate the support. Linda Easton says, Sacramento fellow quail raisers, welcome. Glad you're here. Linda's in the house. Linda did a great job. Very good ideas. Absolutely. Charlene Smith is in the house from Southeast Texas. Welcome. We're glad you're here. S. McKee says, hi everyone, 102 degrees in Spokane, Washington, and quail are doing fine. There you go. Scott Ross is in the house. Get a Govee. They are worth it. I really like them as well. I actually got a text this week from someone that said that they didn't like them at all, and that I shouldn't recommend them. And I said, look, everybody's different. That's what we have worked with and really liked. I don't get any kickback off of that. It's just I bought like 10 different thermometer hygrometers. That's the one that's been the best for us, and I'm just trying to help people not go through 10 different options to get to the one that actually works well. So S.O. Swanson is in the house from Mississippi Delta. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Freedom's Not Free says, I bumped the farm invader up a half degree, and yes, I have a Govie on the floor with the eggs. Wonderful to hear. Poolside Dreamers in the house. Welcome. Glad you're here. Amy B is in the house. Where is your feed supplier located? They've got 3 locations. Easton. They're both semi-close. I think one's in Eaton, one's in Farmersville, and the other one is in Lebanon, maybe? Ohio? They're all in Ohio. But that's Brubaker. They also work with a national distributor, which is Klombach, which you can find in a lot of places. In fact, I think that they have Klombach feed at like Tractor Supply. But with the feed that we customize, it's still customized. And so we have to buy a lot. You know, we go through 5 pallets of layer feed a month. And so that's what they've said that we have to buy for them to make the feed. But hopefully we can say, look, all, you know, we can blow this up, put it in Tractor Supply, and put it here and put it there and let people, you know. So that's what I'm going to work on. Yud P's in the house. Welcome. Glad you're here. Wow, my throat hurts. Lori's in the house. Thank you for your answer. Much appreciated. Eggs are on the way from you and excited. Well, awesome. Congratulations. Thanks for choosing us, and I wish you the best, and obviously keep me posted. Oxford Prepping is in the house. I use Farm Innovation Incubators, and I'm having 90% hatch rate on my 4th set of 40. Wonderful to hear. Yeah, I really do think that you can get them. You're going to have to work with it, you know. And that's any incubator at some point in time. But that's wonderful, and yeah, I agree that you can get great hatch rates from almost anything. You just have to, you have to spend more time on. And Amy B's in the house, having an outdoor located pinhawk problem. My neighbor had to shove a red tail off the cage with a pole yesterday. He would not leave with yelling or thrown objects. It's not great. I would look to see maybe what Tractor Supply has available as far as a deterrent goes. But mine have always been, well, not always, but mine are inside, so I don't have experience in that, unfortunately. Another thing that I wanted to bring up for Quail Con in my talk, what we're going to do is really focus on small businesses next year as well. I really want to get involved with a ton, I mean, as many as possible, small businesses, because I think that's how we also can take a small bit of control of the economy. If we say, and let's just be real, if we say, look, I'm willing to pay a couple more bucks for American Made, I'm willing to pay a couple more bucks for the mom and pop shop, or, you know, I think that if we just support each other financially, if we support each other, you know, emotionally, if we support each other just with encouragement, if we just get together and say, we're doing this together, you know, we got too much hate. We gotta turn the corner, and I think that with the community that we have, I think it's large enough where if we all get on the same page, we all have the same vision, we all have the same goal in mind. I strongly do believe, with all of you, with everybody that's going to watch this later, with everybody that's on Facebook, with everybody in the community as a whole, if we get together and say, we're going to support each other and we're going to help each other, and I really do think that it's time for us to be able to stand firm and start making a difference. Terry's in the house. If I put your feather sexable mix in a colony setup, where did you go? I hate when it does that. There you are. Oh God. Got it. Okay. Can it be feather sexable? Yes, if you put feather sexable to feather sexable, you will continue to get feather sexable. That is correct. Now you might get an oddball every once in a while from past generations, but no, feather sexable to feather sexable will almost always give you feather sexable quail. Um, UIP says, anyone know the hatch rate from Nurturite 360? Yeah, anywhere from 0 to 100, unfortunately. You do have to control it a little bit. You have to monitor it. I highly recommend you have a Govee with it, but you can easily manipulate that to the right percentages and degrees where you can get great hatch rates. I think I've had 4 100% hatch rates from shipped eggs this year from my customers that use the Nurturite 360. Now, that doesn't mean that we haven't had bad hatch rates with the Nurturite 360 from customers as well, but it's completely doable to get great hatch rates from the 360. Terry is in the house from Missouri. Welcome. Amy B. again donated to the 1800 contest. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. We need 3 more likes to hit 100, so hit that like button and support the channel. Happy Homesteads in the house. Gail from Devil's Elbow, Missouri, with the crushed box of quail eggs from the PO. I did see that. I actually have our meeting on, oh God, it's tomorrow, the 1st. We actually have our meeting with the postmaster tomorrow. I've already saved those pictures to my phone, so we'll be showing him that. Yeah, so he's not going to be too happy about that, but I'm pretty happy with him. I mean, when we take, because we have meetings with him about once a month, sometimes once every 2 months. But there seems to always be an increase of awareness from the post office, and not just ours, but in general, after we talk to him. So he gets things done. Bob White's in the house. Hey, Zach, I was contacted by a wholesale buyer looking for 3,600 balutes a week. My biggest concern is incubator space. I have a homemade model in mind, meeting him on Tuesday to discuss. Wish me luck. Well, best of luck to you. If you're going to do that many balutes a week, I would highly invest in, highly encourage you to invest into GQFs. A lot. I would encourage that a lot. I love the GQFs. They hold a crap ton of eggs, and they have been absolutely extremely durable and reliable. So I definitely look into that. But good luck, and I wish you all the best. That's wonderful. Dennis is in the house. Would Coturnix do better in a cage or in an aviary? They do either one. You're going to get more production out of the cage setup. It's going to be less time to take care of every day. But the aviary setting, they are going to be happier. They will lay longer. And you have the potential of them actually going broody and hatching out their own eggs. So there's pros and cons to both. Good luck. I don't think there's a wrong answer there. HJ says, for your live quail teen straight runs for sale, would you be able to try your best to select only females as best as you can if I request it? I can't keep brews in my neighborhood. I can't. They are too young. Now, if it's like, some of the SSCs, some of the silvers, I can tell like by their head if they're male or female. Then obviously we don't purposely send any males, but they're going to be way too young to even remotely vent sex, even for me. But yeah, if there's any indication that it's probably a male, in fact, the last time we shipped was back in like February. They'll be back on the website tomorrow, but we were putting them in the box, and there was this just gorgeous, I mean, it was hard to get rid of, but it was the only one I had to send, and we were one short, so I had to send it. But it was a gorgeous German pastel collection, and man, I was picking it up, and I was like, oh, I don't want to get rid of it. I don't want to get rid of it. I was putting it in the box, and all of a sudden it crowed at like 2.5 weeks old, and I was like, perfect, I'll keep it. So we took one out of another cage, and I was like, that is wonderful. So no, we'll do our very best not to send any males. Obviously, you'll get some, but we will do our best to not do that. So if it's anything obvious or that we can tell, absolutely not. It goes into a separate cage. Oxford Prepping says, where do you find the Govee? Right underneath your comment at 7:30, Verna Young actually put the link to it. It's in our Amazon shop store. You can go to just Amazon in general and type in Govee, and it'll show up, but we have it in our shop store if you want to let us get that 0.25% commission. um, HJ says introducing new birds to an existing group. Question: if pecking blood still continues after moving coop around, your recommendation method, should I remove the bully or remove the one that is bullied? I would remove the one that is bullied first. I would take a look. If you've got a bully in the cage, if you have at least 5 minutes to watch the cage, that bully doesn't just do it a couple times a day. You take that one that's been bullied out, the one that's creating the issue, if it's an issue, will go straight to another one and start doing it. So I would take the bullied out. Verna says, show Zach your appreciation. Hit the thumbs up. Thank you very much. Michaela says, thank you for the answer, Verna. Oh, you're not talking to me. PJ's Family Farm says, well, hello, all you beautiful quail people in the house from the Catskill Mountains of New York. Welcome. We're glad to hear, and I can't wait to meet you at Quail Con as well. PJ's fan is not talking to me. Don Ray B says, Zach, I love the perspective. The more skills we have, the less we can be forced into decisions we don't want to make. There you go. Don Ray B says, I love that talk. Thank you. Well said. Thank you. Larson's Farm says, I always tune in. Love the info. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Michaela says, thank you for the answer. I was watching the video on the feed when you answered. There you go. S. McKee says, the good thing about the high temperatures is the quail poo gets dried out real fast, so fewer flies. Yep, absolutely. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Robin C says, have you ever considered growing I don't know what that is. For urban steaders, have you ever considered growing OT pilots for hunting? Oh, growing out piglets. Okay, I would have never figured that out. Have you ever considered growing out piglets for urban setters? We possibly. Yeah, that would be something maybe next year, actually. We really wanted to get control of how to do things in the past couple of years. So the past couple of years, well, last year was a big year of learning business, like actual business, right? This year has been learning all about, how to raise pigs correctly, how to raise the goats correctly, how to save on feed, how to raise bees, how to do, the aviary where we've got rabbits now, how to butcher rabbits and pigs and cows. And like, I'm learning a ton about homesteading in general this year. And the reason that I've not talked about that before is because I didn't know. And like I said earlier, I can't help anybody if I can't help myself first. So it's kind of a selfish thing. I'm spending a lot of time on me this year, but watch out next year, because man, am I coming your way. I mean, we are going to learn so much together next year that it's going to blow people's socks off. So possibly. Natasha says, we used to work our own land rather than working for the man. We need to get back to this way of life. Absolutely. And I'm not even saying that we all have to go all crazy on it, but I think all of us can do more. And, I think that we have to go with the times as well. But I think that throughout time, 120 years ago, there was no technology, and, you lived off the land and you did this, that, and the other. And I get that, and that's still possible. But with all the advances that we've made, why not take both together? And it kind of seems that with the advances that we've made, we've moved away from that and just focused on the technology side and the city side. But what about if we just combine them both? You know what I mean? We'll be unstoppable. So yeah, I agree 100%. Salute says, hi, it's Kalini using my dad's phone so I can watch. Well, thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. G. Rubens is in the house. Welcome. Glad you're here. Maria Carson's in the house from Twin Oaks Farm, North Canton, Ohio. Welcome. Schaefer Family Farms in the house from Michigan. Welcome. G. Rubin says, do any particular color variations tend to be more or less aggressive? No, not really. Aggressiveness could have something to do with genes, but mainly it has to do with environment, actually. So no, not really. Not at all. PJ's Family Farm is in the house. My scarlet tuxedos are wow. Let's start again. PJ's Family Farm says my scarlet tuxedos are hatching right now. Wonderful. Congratulations. And obviously keep me posted on that. Jasmine, I just saw on here that you just showed up, which is completely fine. You're not late. I'm just happy you're here. But I had an idea for Quail Con. I know that you're helping out, and I appreciate it, but this is more of a personal thing. So if we can get together sometime this week, I just got a quick question, but I think it might be fun for both of us to do. Scott Ross is in the house. What temp are you incubating? Got some eggs from Southwest Game Birds. They say 99.5 and GQF instructions say 100. Yeah, 99.5 is completely fine. That's what I recommend as well. Now, if you are dry hatching, I recommend 100. But if you are not dry hatching, then 99.5. So yep, absolutely. Let's see. I know he calls for aggressiveness, but I was wondering if any aggression is a genetic trait linked to color. No, not that I've noticed at all. I don't think it's linked to a color. I don't. Now, I don't have statistics to back that up, so keep that in mind. That's something that I can definitely talk to Duke University or one of our universities that we deal with. I'm sure I've asked this before, but I don't remember the answer. But no, I don't believe that's the case at all. It's a great question. Dr. Connie says, I just candled. I put the Nurturite 360 into lockdown, 85% fertility rate with my trial dry hatch. In Florida, air vent is now fully open. I added water. Now I'll just watch the humidity for a while. That is great. Congratulations. A wonderful fertility rate. So best of luck to you, but you're doing great. Yud P is in the house. Welcome. Glad you're here. Happy Homestead's in the house. Candled earlier and have 5 out of the 30 eggs. Eggs weren't from you, but I'm ordering from you this week. The eggs were from my friend in South Texas. 5 out of 30 eggs. One thing that I might look into, Happy Homestead, and I know that they're not from me. I'm just trying to help out. It could have been, the shipping. It could have been the heat. It could have been old quail. It could have been old eggs. It could have been males that need to be replaced. It could be a lot of things, but you can only control what you can control. And most of the time, having a very low fertility or development rate is usually a temperature issue. So maybe just double check the incubator before you order eggs from anybody, just to confirm that your side is covered and you're good to go. Is just a thought. Leslie, hold on. Leslie C says, is it common to have double yolk to an egg? We handled today, day 10. And what is the reason behind having 2 quail growing in an egg? They stop developing, guessing first few days. Is it common to have double yolk to an egg? I wouldn't say common. I would say rare. It's not like, oh my God, you have a double yolker. But I mean, you can. And that's usually why they don't hatch, usually. So I wouldn't say it's common, but it does happen. And what is the reason behind having 2 quail growing in an egg? Yeah, double yolker would be the reason. Richard Brown's in the house from East Tennessee. Welcome. Glad you're here. Jennifer's in the house. I printed out your book today, and I'm so happy with it. It was so many recipes. I highly recommend getting that book. Yeah, Verna Young actually, I'm so sorry. Verna Young actually put a cookbook together, a quail book, and we put it on our website. So she gets a portion of the proceeds that go to that, and then the other portion of the proceeds actually go to Quail Con to put the best event that we can together. But it is a great quail cookbook. Quail cookbook. Woo! Check it out. Homecac's in the house. Welcome. Glad you're here. I don't think I missed. Yep. Okay, I'm back. Let's see. Jill's in the house. We just had the Italians we bought from you hatch. The electric went out, and I took them to my parents' house. Still some hatching. That is wonderful to hear. Typically, if you have an electric issue, you need to let it go for 48 extra hours than what you normally would. And in those 48 hours at the end, you typically want to burn them out. You want to, make them come out. So typically, if you have an electric issue and that happens, it sounds like they're still going well, but it sounds like you have an extended hatch. Increase your temp to about 100.5 and increase your humidity to 75% and try to get them to hatch a little bit earlier than what they would since they're hatching a little bit late to no fault of your own. But that typically helps when you have a power outage. But it sounds like you're already doing great, so congratulations. Cheryl, Kentucky Girls in the house. I have 2 separate hatches from Myshire Fab Fee, and each time I had 1 solid yellow chick. First turned into solid white bird, second turned into solid white bird with a black diamond shape on its head. That's completely normal. Usually when we try to increase size, we'll put a jumbo with it or things like that. And we're also trying to get our Fab Fees to be white-winged as well, which means you'll hatch out a white. Hong Cac is in the house. For balut, do you count the day you load them in or after for the 12-day count? That's a great question. So if it's after 12 noon when you put them in the incubator, if it's after noon, if it's after 12 o'clock noon time, then you count that as 0. If it's before 12 o'clock noon time, you count it as day 1. Bob White says, Zach, I have 2 GQF incubators, but would need more room for 10,000 plus eggs in order to produce 3,600 weekly. The balut buyer is also looking for the same number of chicken and duck balut. Sounds like you need to get a cabinet. I mean, like one of those big wooden old ones. Or you could transfer into one of our Gigantors. I think the Gigantors holds the one we're using right now holds 7,700, and the one we're building this winter is going to hold 8,800. So maybe that's the way to go. Schaefer Family Farm says, how many generations does it take to turn any standard color variety to jumbo size that breeds true in size and color? Forever. Takes a long time. Really depends on what you're working with, what genetics you're working with, what color you're trying to work with. Some will just never become jumbo size. It's just not in the cards for them. Typically, it takes about 8 generations to get it there, but before you can advertise it or sell it or offer it as jumbo, you need at least 3 more generations, and those generations need to make the weight as well. So it takes about 8 generations to get where you want to go with your breeders, but then you need to make sure your breeders hatch out, and then those hatchlings grow up and they hatch out, and then those grow up and they hatch out, and those babies are consistently jumbos. Because we did get Tibetans to jumbo size about 2 years ago, and every old-time breeder that I used to work with, most of them are retired now, but all of them and myself, it is possible and somehow, but it is a nightmare to keep Tibetans a jumbo size. I mean, it is miserable. So we're like, you know what? If you want to consistently be at 9.5, then you're standard and you're a good size and you're a great layer. But getting them to that, it was a nightmare. So we stopped doing it. Katie Bella Creation says hello everyone, hatching eggs from my quail, having a great hatch rate so far, very excited. That is awesome. Congratulations, and I wish you all the best. Sounds like you're doing great. Schaefer Family Farm says, is it better to cross jumbo with color to increase size, or take a standard to color to jumbo through selectively breeding? The best thing to do is to take your colors as hens and put them with a very large jumbo wild male. You're going to get best results with that. And then you're going to do that for a few generations, and then you're going to cross that out, and then you've got to start breeding them true again. And it's a process for sure. Katrina is in the house from Gilroy, California. Sorry I'm late. I hope all are doing well. Absolutely. Thanks for stopping by. Maybe one day. It just sounds like so much. Trevor says, Verna said, if you get dairy goats, Zach, I'll milk them. And that's on the cards for us, but milking animals is going to be one of the last things that we do, because I need to get my head around so many other things, and that's such a time commitment. We definitely have to do it for sure, but I'm just not there yet. I got to go at my own speed. Trevor says, grab the hide. It might be a rough ride for us folks, but we're here. There, welcome. We're glad to hear. Jasmine's in the house. Welcome. Verna says, thumbs up, everybody. We're at 116 likes. I appreciate that. Bob White says, peach. Oh, we're not talking about. Where did you? G. Rubin says, what density in quail per square foot is there too few quail? In other words, can too few cause aggressiveness? Yes, absolutely. That's why we recommend 3 quail per square foot. 1 to 2 quail per square foot. They're overcrowded. They'll get cranky with each other, obviously. But if you go to 4 quail per, I'm sorry. If you go to 4, 5, 6 quail per square foot, they're majorly overcrowded. And so that obviously creates aggressiveness. But if you go to 1 or 2 quail per square foot in a cage setting, that actually causes an aggressiveness in a different way. It's territorialism. And so they can get very aggressive that way too. Now, you can get away with 2 quail per square foot or 1 quail per square foot. It might work, but in the long run, you will have territory issues for sure. Wayne's in the house. Do you ship to Phoenix, Arizona? We do. If so, is it safe for eggs or birds? Should we try a closer hatchery? We are from Ohio, moved to Phoenix. Well, welcome. We're glad you're here. And whatever you would like to do, but we do guarantee all of our live quail show up happy and healthy. So we do guarantee that, or we'll refund you if there's any issues. January and February, I think we sold and shipped 56. We sold and or shipped about 5,600 quail in January, February before we had to close it down for AI. And we lost 3, I do believe. We lost 3 quail that entire time. So losing any sucks, but 3 out of the 5,600 is not bad at all. And all 3 of them were because the post office delayed the shipping every single time. I was so irritated. But again, 3 out of the 5,600, I mean, you know, it is what it is. So we do guarantee it. I'm sure there's a ton of breeders closer than I, but we do pretty well with the shipping. I mean, you know, we can't control everything, but the way we ship, it's pretty hard to it's pretty hard to mess it up. They do find ways, though. The post office does find ways. Dave says, hi, Zach. It's Dave from Black Country, UK. I've sent you an email showing you all my quail. 2 of them are the same type of quail, and I had them today. One male, 1 female. They're very cool. I did get the emails Must have sent it later. I did emails way early this morning. So I will get to those. Usually I get to emails about Tuesday. So I'll take a look at that. Happy Home says, most of the eggs were crushed, but you and I texted about trying to see how they did, but they lit up like it was Christmas. I'll see what I get out of the 5. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Sorry. Lossier Acres Hatcheries in the house. Hey, everyone. Hey, Zach, Josh, checking in from Riverside. How's everybody today? Well, welcome. We're glad you're here. Jill's in the house. Welcome. Dave says, can I put all the females together? 3 are 5-week-old, and the new one is 7 weeks old, and the 7-week-old male is starting to try and get his leg over, so I'm separating him until they all come of age. The 3 or 5 weeks old, no, you would want to keep the hens a little bit separate. The male is going to be much bigger, and he's mature and ready to go, and he'll really beat up those hens. So those hens need to be probably at least 8 weeks old before you put them in with that male. Robin C says, so excited about Quail Con, looking forward to seeing everyone. Nothing better than hanging with all the fellow quail addicts. Well, welcome, we're glad to hear. Jasmine Bass says, my incubator got a whole month and a half off, LOL. We added new young rabbits, 7 Nigerian dwarf goats, 3 barn cats to the home. Said there just wasn't enough of me to go around for new chicks. I completely understand that, believe you me. Getting ready to load the old baiter up, though. Absolutely, it's that time. G. Rubin says, just buy your cookbook as well, Verna. There you go. La Rochelle Farm says, hello, y'all. Hope everyone is doing well. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Let's see. Cheryl Kentucky Girl says, I've had a few eggs recently that had no shell, only the membrane. Does this indicate lack of calcium or just young age of birds? One group is 3 months old, the other is 2. I don't think it's the age. They shouldn't be doing that at that age. The no shell, it could be a calcium issue. Could be a stress issue. And they're still kind of young. 8 and 12 weeks old. They could be maturing a little late. I'd still give them a little bit of time. I'd need to ask a couple more questions to be certain, but if they're still laying those type of eggs next Sunday, let me know, and we'll try to troubleshoot some things. But really, troubleshooting is one of the last things you want to do. You really want them to try to fix it themselves. But if it's still happening for another week, let me know, and we'll come up with some ideas. Lost my spot. Salvador Santiago's in the house. Welcome. Glad you're here. La Rochelle Farm says, Zach, I have plenty of naked quail, maybe trying to create a self-defeathered quail running a 3 per square foot. What say you? Is there a lot of circulation? Because even 3 per square foot, but if you're doing colony cages like I think you are, it could be a circulation where they're just getting hot and they're pulling the feathers out. I would assume you've got brand new males, though. I would assume that all of your cages are going to be pretty new males, which are going to be much more active than experienced breeders. And that could be it as well. I would say either your males are Is it a 5-to-1 ratio? That's where I would start. It could be a circulation issue, but I'm thinking, if I had to guess, you're not a 5-to-1 ratio. I bet. I would need to know. I don't want to bet. You're here. You could just tell me. Carolyn's Collections, love the name, says, can you give any advice on staggering eggs in the incubator? I have 60 in there with 2 different due dates. It happens. It's not the best practice, but it is, sometimes that's just what we have to do. Typically, the ones that you're going to have to put into lockdown first, typically you want, let's start over. Okay, so let's say you have like a GQF, right? I don't know what kind of incubator you have, but let's just say you have a GQF. So in that case, if we have to use it that way, then the ones that go into lockdown are obviously going at the bottom, and we are putting the ones that are still incubating at the very top. So it gives, you want as much space in between as possible. So if you're using like a Incubator or a Little Giant or a Farm Innovator and you have the turners in there, then if you're going to use that as the lockdown as well, then you're going to put the eggs that are still incubating in the very front as close as you can. Take the rails out of the back and then put them in the as far back as you can. You want as much separation as possible, is I guess what I'm trying to say horribly. Sorry. Don Ray B says, gotta go, gotta put the chickens to bed and etc. Take care. Well, thank you very much for showing up. Wayne McPeak is in the house. Thank you. Love your channel. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate that. Amy B says, tell the girls we said goodnight, Don. Absolutely. Is there anything out of home garden that can't be fed to quail? Out of a home garden? Nope. They'll eat it all. It's a good way to look at it. Anything in the garden can go in the cage. I like that. I'm going to start using that. Stealing your idea. It's a great idea. Zach, on your roasting pit, how are you getting wood inside of it? We are not actually putting wood inside of the roasting, or the roasting pit. So we're actually doing a fire pit next to it. We're burning that into coals, and we're putting the coals in there, and the coals are the ones that's smoking it and heating it up, and it's working wonderfully. Then we don't have burn marks. We're not burning it. It's just straight up, heat without fire and smoke, and it works wonderfully. Don't know where Karen says, hey, Zach, I had jumbo wild. Oh, that's even better. 48 out of 50. That is wonderful. Congratulations. Gail says, I just bought the cookbook. It looks great. I also bought some stuff from your Amazon store. Well, thanks for your support. I appreciate that. G. Rubens says, my quail go absolutely nuts over sunflower microgreens. Yeah, that is true. They start growing crazy when they see me take out of a tray from the grow zone. There you go. That's pretty cool. Question, if I breed dotted white male with Italian hens, what would I get? Whites, Italians, and then eventually Italian tuxedos. Gail says, how long do you keep your jumbo wild before calling? 8 weeks. I have 2 old ones, about 1 year and 8 months left, and the new batch of ones I hatched that are laying now. Yeah, we butcher ours at 8 weeks old. Our breeders, we butcher the males at about 7 months by the time we get it all done, and then. But yeah, when we grow out our jumbos, we call them at 8 weeks. La Rochelle Farm says, yes, running 5-1, and I have a fan set up to blow right on the cages. That is besides the exhaust fan I have in the barn. I actually have fans set that way to keep poop drier. Interesting. Is it all the cages? Oh, you're way up north too, so it wouldn't be a heat issue. I noticed it more with the fevers, but they may just be because I have mostly fee. Um, hmm. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's heat issue. You've got a 5-1 with a 3. I mean, it's got to be overbreeding, but I don't understand. Do you have very, I don't want to say aggressive, but do you have very active males? Hmm. I'll have to think about that. Here's another question for you. Are they back? Are their feathers missing from the brooder or just recently? Like, how old are they? I'm kind of leaning towards that very active male situation as well. I'll see what Jenna thinks. She usually comes up with creative things to try. I'll check that out. I'll see what she says. I'm kind of leaning towards. Well, if you're still on the Rochelle farm, how old are they when you notice that their feathers are starting to miss? And I mean, they're not going to look great, but that shouldn't affect your productivity at all, unless they start bleeding, and then that will affect it a lot. These are my layers, and some have ruffled feathers. Also, I'm thinking male should I run 6-1 to 7-1. I just hate for you to. What's your fertility rate been? I know you just started with selling, but I'm sure you've been hatching out for a while. What's your fertility rate been with the setup you have now? Yeah, the laying should be fine. The only issue that you might run in with is, so obviously the older they get, the tougher their skin is. And so if they don't have those feathers as a padding, those males are going to start digging into the skin itself. And then once they start getting scratched and bleed, they're going to be gone like that. I've learned that from experience a long time ago. Salty Dog Adventure says, my quail are a week old today. Temperature in the brooder is 80 degrees. And I just checked on them and they are not sleeping under the heat plate. Is this normal? The temperature in the brooder is 80 degrees. Yeah, I mean, as long as they can get to it, that should be fine. I mean, that's a little low for 1 week old, but not extremely low. I don't know where you're located too. It might be hotter out there too, more humid. Yeah, as long as they're scattered throughout and they're not cuddled up all together, then they're completely fine. I wouldn't worry about that at all. Rose Wilson says, hey, Zach, can I order from you an incubator when you send the eggs I won today, or is it possible? I don't sell incubators, unfortunately. I'm sorry. We do have some on the Amazon store you can check out, but I don't sell any of the incubators. I'm sorry. Rochelle Farm says fertility is excellent. I would assume that. Just would be a real big bummer if you go to a 7-to-1 ratio and then your fertility drops a lot. You've got multiple cages. You could try the 7-to-1 with what you're doing, but you definitely, like 100%, to keep your production going, you have to switch those males out at like 5.5 months old. Like you have to. Because when they start decreasing, that 7-to-1 is really going to make a difference. But that is the assumption that the males are just overbreeding, even with the 5-to-1 ratio. That's just the assumption. So if it's not that, we might be making a mistake. I would be very careful. If you've got a little bit of wiggle room to work with as far as how many eggs you're getting a week compared to how many you're selling, then you could experiment and see if that works. But if you're using everything you got right now, I hate to say it, but I'd keep everything the same until you get a little bit of wiggle room. Feather Connections Homesteads in the house. Hey, Kelly here. Can't wait for Quail Con. How are you healing from the horse kick? Yeah, I got kicked by the horse this weekend. It's fine. It was just sore, but getting him up there and dealing with the farrier and this, that, and the other, I ran out of time and I wasn't expecting. I thought Jenna was going to take care of it, but she was busy, and so I had to do it. And that took about 2 hours of my time, and those 2 hours I had to make up somewhere, so I just couldn't do auctions that day. So it was more of a time constraint than anything else. But yeah, I'm just sore, but just part of raising animals. Um, Salty Dog Adventure says I'm in Florida. Then yeah, that would make complete sense. You're good. Yeah, makes perfect sense. As McKee says, I stuffed my raised garden with quail poo this past winter, and now they have the best garden. Where'd you go? Best garden this year. It is mostly in the shade, but really producing veggies now. Yes, absolutely. We do that as well, and it's awesome. Not incubator, thermometer. Oh, yeah, we don't sell those. Those are still on the Amazon store, so yeah, you can definitely get that there. But I don't keep those in stock here. I don't know why I don't. That's probably something I should look into. I'll look into that. It's not a horrible idea. I should look into that. Graham Fam OK is in the house from Oklahoma, 10 weeks into the wait. It's coming up. Just a little bit longer. A lot longer, but you're getting there. Wouldn't the ruffle back feathers indicate more aggressive males? Yeah, it could. First, okay, all right, this is how I'll answer it. For someone just raising quail for them and their family, then yes, I would say go to a 7-to-1 ratio. You've got very, very aggressive males, is what I would say. With your situation, honestly, I wouldn't risk it. Even one cage, I wouldn't risk it. I would keep them where they're going, get the maximum production, and then, if you can get a couple of eggs extra, put them just in a small little cage and try the fertility on the 7-to-1. I really don't like the 7-to-1. I see what you're saying and I get it. It'd be great if you could switch out the males. I mean, that would probably do the trick. That would be the fastest and easiest thing. I hate to say to go to a 7-to-1 or a 6-to-1 when I know what you're needing them for. You know what I mean? Like if you're just raising them for you, the kids and the family, then yeah, just do that. And if your fertility drops, it's not the end of the world. But you maxing out your production to sell, you don't have a lot of wiggle room right now. Yeah, usually ruffled feathers usually indicates that. That is all of the comments. Yeah, Wholesale Farm, I'll be in the barn literally all day tomorrow from like 6 a.m. to probably 8 p.m. So if you can remind me tomorrow, I'll send you a picture of that light that I was talking about. I don't think I ever sent that to you. But I'll be down there all day. And then let me think about it a little bit more. I don't think I'm going to change my mind. That would be my advice, is let it go. If you see, I mean, they're still, I don't think your breeders are going to be that old. None of them. So you still have some time before their skin starts to harden. I just think that account's more valuable than some feathers on the back right now. And it's kind of like, you know, the more you do, the more harm you can do, is just my thought. Amy B says, Govee ought to be a sponsor on the show. I know. That was a horrible business decision on my end. We just found it. We were excited about it. Never talked to the company. You know, just said it. And, man, I've sold more Govees for that company than I can shake a stick at. And really should have leveraged that a little bit. I should have. It's stupid. I didn't know. I was just trying to help, but that's all right. It's not a big deal. They're doing their job. They're bringing out a good product. So I'm just trying to help. Trying to be a blessing. That's my mom always says. Just trying to be a blessing. Chris Bland's in the house. Welcome. Glad you're here. Yeah. Yeah, Wholesale Farm. If I were you, I'd switch out the males. That's what I would do. I wouldn't try to switch it to a 6-to-7-1 ratio. I'd be too worried that production would drop off even for a couple weeks. I mean, that's scary. And then you'd have to worry about the fertility, which you're not going to know right away. There's just too many untolds that way. I don't like it. Chris says, Zach, I'm late, but got to get to you on my hatch rate from 2 months ago. Feel free to text me or let me know. I'm almost done, but if you can't send it on here too soon, then just let me know. I'd be happy to write that down. Wholesale Farm says, also drop cell phone into liquefied quail poop was a lovely moment. Yeah, when I say this, I want you to understand what I'm saying. I feel your pain. I feel your pain. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, sounds good, Chris. That is all of the questions. And, wow. Oh, I thought I had it. God. It's just so fast. All right, that's all the questions. So thank you, everybody, for showing up. I really appreciate it. Now, remember, tomorrow night, I've got a special guest. We got a big announcement for you. It's going to be very exciting. Make sure you check that out. It is going to be rapid fire, so we will try to go fast. I won't be reading all the comments, but we do have a cool announcement. And then Sunday, we're going to be doing the 18 Under Contest winner announcement, as well as how we're going to be doing the 18 Under Contest differently. So I'm very excited about that. And we're going to be talking about a little bit about Quail Con that you don't know yet. So make sure you check tomorrow night out at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just for the first short little bit to get that cool information coming your way. I do plan on doing some good videos this week, but we are pretty much 4 weeks away from Quail Con. So I'm going to be very unavailable a lot, and it's going to make some people angry, but I have to get this place ready. We got to move the goats, and I got to get the cow field cleared out, and then I'm going to have to mow that, and then I'm going to have to redo the driveway because there's pothole. I mean, there's just... I was hoping to just let it go this year. Like, I was hoping to say, you know what, it's a farm, it is what it is, and I just can't do it. I saw a little thing on Facebook. You guys aren't going to care, but I'm going to tell you anyway because I'm already in the middle of it. And they're like, what people do when they walk into their house. And then it was this lady that like walked in the house. They're like, oh, it's such a nice place, so clean. How do you keep it all clean? Blah, blah, blah. And then it was like what you think people are going to do. And then she walks in, she's like, oh, it's so clean. And she's like, but I'm going to check your bedroom, and runs upstairs and like, I can't believe you didn't clean your bed and you left the drawer open. And she was just saying that, when you have company over, you ultra clean, thinking that they're going to spot anything out. I was just raised that when you have company over, make it make it presentable. And so this year I was like, it's a farm, not everything's perfect, and it's not going to be, but there's certain things that I just thought I'd be able to let go that I can't. So a lot of cleanup before Quail Con. We got 4 weeks, so we got a lot to do. But I'm going to try to get those videos done for you this week. Looks like there was a couple more questions. I'll answer those real quick, and then we'll get out of here. Rich says, solid bottom rabbit feeder with a 1/4-inch open wire inserted. Don't know who you're talking to, but I would assume someone asked a question. What's the weight on jumbo Egyptian hatchling eggs? I just did that today. I think it's like 6 weeks by the end of this week. Like I'm getting almost caught up with that. Thanks, Zach, for your help. Not a problem, Mark. We had 100 counts, I think 50 that hatched. It's not awful. Chris says, I'm in the Caribbean. Oh, right. Sure. Well, that's not too bad. And Walker says, what's the lead time for jumbo Egyptian hatchling eggs? About 6 weeks, I do believe. Amy says 11 weeks of the Egyptians, I think. You're correct, Amy, you're correct. But at the end of this week, I'll be able to get about 4 weeks out caught up. So I'll be about 6 weeks by the end of this week out. I had a lot of breeders this week, or last week. Love your chair, looks super comfy. It's actually my son's, and he's just never in here. And I'm like, well, why do I have a squeaky, uncomfortable chair when I can just use his gaming chair? So I took it. Steven says, so I made 5 cages in the past week and a half for 40 foot, and I have room for 5 more, which would be way more space than what I've ordered. Does this quail thing get addictive? Each cage gets better. Yes, and I just want to say that from me to you, I apologize in advance, but it looks like you're probably going to be building 5 more cages. Wife still won't go to Quail Con with me. Well, you're not even coming, Mark. You haven't even bought a ticket. Why don't you get a ticket? I bet if you got a ticket, then she would be like, fine, I'll go. Probably not. But, see y'all Quail Con 2022. Excited for it. Have a wonderful evening. You too, Jasmine. Are you going to have egg auctions next weekend? Unless something crazy comes up, I'm planning on Saturday. Yes, at least Saturday. I'll do it next weekend for sure. Like, that's one thing I need to get on a schedule, but right now my goal is that I just have to do it sometime on the weekend every week. Like, I got to get in that rhythm. And I'll get better at it. But yeah, every weekend we'll have something, except for the Quail Con weekend. That's not happening. Glenn Wells says, I'm using your video to put together Zach's quail tips reference notebook for the grandkids using bullet statements and short paragraphs. When finished, I will shoot you a copy if you like. That'd be awesome. That'd be really cool. Can I tell you, there's only 93 people on. Can I tell you a secret? Now, don't tell anybody. But one of my personal / business goals for next year is to start working on the book I want to write. I'm really into it right now, but I'm not very good at it, so a lot of research still needs to be done. Foster Farm says, thank you for the time and effort, Zach. Seriously, not a problem. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. What time? It should be it'll be 1 to 3. The plan is 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday, and if I have extra eggs, I'll do it on Sunday as well. But it's hard to keep that. I've got to learn how to do all that because it really just depends on what I've got for the week. You know, it depends on what the corporate accounts order. It depends on what I sell online or what I sell on eBay. It depends on, you know, if I have any ballots. Like it just, there's a lot of factors that you can't really plan for because I have so many accounts. False Farm says, the best way to lead a wife to threaten to do something without her. The best way to lead a wife is threaten to do something without her. That does not work on my wife. Usually she just goes, okay, see you. I bought a ticket to a Bengals game a couple years ago, and I thought for sure she'd be like, oh, is there any tickets left? I said, yeah, I guess I'll just go by myself. And she's like, okay, love you. And I was like, okay. Well, so I went. I was supposed to go with someone else, and then they backed out, and I thought she'd take the ticket, and she didn't. But I had a great time, so. But I'm one of those people that can easily go somewhere by my, like, there's no way that my wife would go to a restaurant and eat by herself. Like, that's like a sin to her. I do it all the time. I have no problem. I like my alone time. I've got a farm. I've got kids. I've got this, that, and the other. I don't get alone time, so I'll take it any way I can get. I don't care. Dave says, wishing I could have been able to get to Quail Con, but it's too far for me to get to, and it's too late for me to save to get the cash to go, but I'll try to come next year. I'm going to bed. God bless. Well, thanks, Dave, and hopefully we'll see you next year. HJ says, so excited about your book. Are you planning to self-publish or through a literary agent? You know, I'd love to. Here's the thing. When I start researching things, I tend to get more confused. I'd love to go through an agent, just because I think it would be a better product that way. And I understand that they would take a commission and you know, percentage of the sales and this, that, and the other. And I'm more of like, I'd rather just be out there. So I'm cool with like them taking the majority and I get like 10% royalty. Like, I'm cool with that. I can't figure out how it all works. I haven't called on anyone. I just kind of looked it up. But you know, when I was getting ready for my speech for Quail Con, I just started writing, you know, notes down, and then I like glanced at it real quick and I went, you know what? Those look like chapters in a book. So it's just we'll see. Marilyn says, we would love to go to Quail Con, but I have to work that weekend. Thanks for all the tips and help. Not a problem. Hopefully you can make it next year. That looks like all of the comments. I do believe. So, everybody, thank you very much. I'm going to go kill this fly and then go to bed. I got to be in the barn at 6 a.m. tomorrow. We got a busy day. A lot of eggs to get out. For those of you that won the auctions today, I won't be able to get to your invoices until tomorrow, but you will go out this week, I promise. But I just... too much to do all the time, right? So, but I will get with you tomorrow. I got to do my phone tomorrow too, so... thank you very much. Remember, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to do a rapid fire Q&A. It will not take this long, but we do have a big announcement and a special guest for the first beginning of it. And then next Sunday, we'll be doing the 18 and under contest winner and how we're changing that up. So I'm very excited about that as well. And so until then, as always, everybody, thanks for showing up and stay safe.